So, fellas, and my hard R fellas that have joined the channel, let's check in on Steven Crowder's approach of bringing statistics to the black community and see if he's making any headway in part 2 of his conversation.
And if you're going to add up everyone where you could actually trace the lineage to slave owners or had any involvement, you would end up with maybe 2 or 3%. 2 or 3% of white people in this country.
There go them numbers.
You
there go them numbers.
You throw out, there go them numbers.
There go them
Most of us.
Why? Why is it like this? I guess what we're slowly learning about this community is if they're ever robbing you and they go, give me your money, you should just say, what percent of it? And then they'll run away. That's what it seems like is all I'm saying. Because numbers is kryptonite to a neighbor. But these are our countrymen, okay? And these are the, if you want to call it, conversations that we have to have. And we can't avoid the Floyd any longer. So let's engage like the respectable white people that we are and ask them to consider listening.
For them, I'm asking you guys to consider listening.
Sure.
Because they're at a point where, I don't know if you know this, a lot of young white dudes have had some pretty fucking tough breaks and no advantages. Man, and they grew up in an era. No, look, everyone has it. Everyone has it.
Nothing about no poor disenfranchised.
But that's the disconnect, man.
Nobody's trying to hear that, man.
You know, you can call them a lot of things, and I will into my pillow so loud it'll wake the neighbors up when I go to sleep tonight. But they are honest, you know? He really is not trying to hear that. Even at a polite request of, hey, you're not the center of the universe. There's other things that happen outside of you that happen to other people. And they're not trying to hear that, so it's no wonder why no one gives a fuck about what happens to them, you know?
That's real talk. That's real talk.
Well, real talk, 12 times the murder rate. You don't want to believe it? Fine.
I don't.
And that kid's not going to want to pay reparations.
You know what else on top of that?
Yep.
I ain't scared. So you can throw them threats out there all you want.
I know you're not scared.
About what the young white man might do.
I know you're not scared because you're 12 times less likely to be the victim of a violent crime from a white person than he is of you. That's a fact.
No, I'm 12 times more likely to defend myself against some bullshit. So if the young white boy come with that bullshit, I'm gonna meet that bullshit with some bullshit.
All I heard was noises, and all I saw was dancing. Sorry, bud.
A lot of white people going into black neighborhoods.
That's what I'm saying.
A lot of white boys going into black neighborhoods, around,
and ain't nobody playing. Understand?
But I think that's. What you guys, come on, let's real talk. You've never seen a white person come in solo into a black neighborhood and start a fight. I don't think you've ever seen it.
I don't see black people.
Let's be honest, guys. You're not afraid of young white kids.
When they're confronted with the truth, they just start making loud noises. Fascinating behavior.
You're not afraid of young white kids.
But entertaining. Steve, you saw a white man going to
If you are, correct me.
No, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm also giving you a flip side to that coin that you completely ignored.
No, because he said, I'll stop some bullshit from a white. I tell you, young white guys are afraid when they're surrounded by black guys.
Okay, but don't come around black guys.
I'm afraid when I'm surrounded by a bunch of white men. I'm just not going to allow my fear.
I'm not.
If you're that scared of black people, don't come around black people.
They're not scared, they're tired of it.
Well, don't stay away from us.
Great.
You got your own areas.
Then don't ask them to pay for it.
And we're not
because once again.
Oh, so you want them to stay away but foot the bill.
So you got to do that with everything else in the tax code.
Now it's the boodle and nothing is safe. Stay away from us but pay for us. Do you realize that guy's going to hate you?
That other side of the coin. If we're going to do that, if we're going to give you that.
If you're going to give us that, give us what? The absence of your presence? Oh, so nice of you to give us that. Thank you for that. I'll talk to the delegation and we'll have Wyoming send you a fruit basket for your gift.
Then you got to go through everything and you got to give us the same thing. We're not going to pay for certain shit that we don't agree with.
Can I ask you something real talk? While we're having real talk, why do young black men fight in packs? Why don't we see a World Star video?
I know personal experience. Young Asians fight in packs more than young black men.
No, I'm talking about every time I tune in.
You know what? Maybe he's right. Maybe Asians do fight in packs more than blacks do. If the Asians he's talking about has water bead off of their hair and they reek of cocoa butter, then yeah, he's definitely right.
I used to be a club bouncer, so
I'm talking about video after video of a defenseless person on the ground getting stomped by
social media. That's conditioning. That's something somebody propped up that wants you to see that represents black folks.
So you think it's equal across the board?
That's the problem. No, I think it happens in any community.
Do you think it happens more from young black men than young white men?
No, it gets amplified more from young black men.
Do you think young black men commit violent crime more than young white men? Let's laser in. Do you think
amongst each other? Yeah.
Do you think
not
that
amongst the populace?
You're saying you don't believe the 12 times rate? Do you believe that young black men commit wanton violence against white men more than white men do against black men?
No.
Okay.
No, I find it.
Then we're never going to find common ground or improve because it's a
You're
reality.
right, because you believe that.
No, I know that. And I'm listening to the kids who are living that.
You know, I like to believe Steven Crowder knows what he's doing. He's just putting this discussion on display, and this is just good for the culture, right? We can all agree on that. It's good for normies to see what people like this think of people like us and how it sounds, and no matter how nice you are, no matter how much you plead your case, no matter how polite you are, this is what you will be met with. There is no having a conversation, and the meter starts to rise. With Steven Crowder when he brings up World Star Hip Hop and he's like, okay, this should do it. This one's really gonna work. What about World Star Hip Hop, which is black people taking videos of black people doing black people stuff to other black people and white people? What about that?
Are people ever responsible for their own decisions?
Yes.
What I'm trying to tell you is young white people are going, we're tired of being blamed for racism when we're getting beaten up, we're getting killed, and we don't have any affirmative action or DEI, and they're saying we need to actually have a conversation here.
Okay, I hear you.
I don't know, go to World Star, go to BET, go to any single rap track.
With the blacks beating up the white people.
I've never seen this. Like,
But
where are these?
because it's not coming across your algorithm, because the system is going to show you stuff that relates to you.
Are we going to act like World Star is just a nightmare I had at some point?
Kids,
I love how Steven Crowder's like, guys, you can't even give me World Star Hip Hop, a website devoted to all sorts of hoodlum thuggery, fights, waving around guns, all of the same persuasion, recorded by people of that persuasion, and uploaded and distributed by people of that persuasion. It has nothing to do with an algorithm, because there's no website devoted to that type of behavior of any other race or demographic, bud. But I'm gonna let this one ride for a little bit. I need you to experience how lethal this projection is, and how it's still somehow psychotically, technically kind of true. I'll have to unpack it, but you really need this all at once.
In my estimation, this is what I've observed. We're the fuse for the fight that's inevitable. We're not necessarily the problem, but we're the fuse that's trying to get lit. See, there's a sect of white people that are trying to start fights or start a revolution against black people to fight the fight that they really want to fight against other white people.
Okay.
See, that's what keeps getting tossed to the side and covered up. See, we're just the few. Once again, there's not enough of us to make an imprint in this country if it popped off like that. There's not enough of us. So we're the trigger. That's why you see the random outbreaks of violence. When it is a lot of times white on black, it's to get the black people riled up and mad at white people so that we can go and do something to negatively affect
that's why I say
a white community to get this party started.
All right.
Now, in the midst of them beating or trying to destroy us, now they can go fight the fight that they want to fight.
Allow me to matriculate the pulchritudinous details of what my brother over here is saying.
We are the fuse for the fight that's inevitable. We're not necessarily the problem, but we're the fuse that's trying to get lit. See,
Alright, it seems like he believes a race war is inevitable, and they're not the problem, but they're being used and antagonized into being violent, right? Okay.
there's a sect of white people that are trying to start fights or start a revolution against black people to fight the fight that they really want to fight against other white people.
That is somehow incoherently, psychotically true. I mean, what he's unknowingly describing is the white communists instigating other white people to go into black neighborhoods to start a race war at the benefit of the white communists. Indulge me for a second.
By stressing the historical and cultural differences between our black and white citizens instead of the similarities, the predictable impact upon the student is such that he'll view the communist call for a separate nation with far more acceptance than his parents did. Under the guise of academic balance, these courses have become a brilliant device for conditioning young people to accept still one more part of the total program for revolution. Now, ladies and gentlemen, no evaluation would be complete if we failed to note that the communist blueprint calls also for white retaliation and violence in the black communities. It's a very important objective for the Communist Party. So far, they've only been able to involve a small percentage of our Negro people in this war of national liberation. The great majority want no part of it in any form. But the one sure way to change that is to have white vigilante groups striking into the Negro sections supposedly to seek revenge. We mustn't kid ourselves into thinking that the communists have placed their agitators only into the black communities. They're working both sides of the street. They want hatred, violence, and bloodshed between the races, and they don't care how they get it or whom they use.
Now let's put it all together.
There's a sect of white people that are trying to start fights.
Those white people are communist revolutionaries that have been in the country for over a century.
Or start a revolution against black people.
Not so much a revolution, but lower your bar of acceptable behavior in society to the point where we all have to deal with it, and we're demonized for speaking out about it, so we get so frustrated we want to attack you.
To fight the fight that they really want to fight against other white people.
Exactly. It's a common tactic, historically, of the communists to have other people fight their battles while they're fighting with each other. It's for the benefit of them. So it is white people, wink wink, attacking other white people through antagonizing black people. Now, this is why in mathematics you have to prove how you got to your answer. Because there's no way he was thinking of that the entire time he was saying it.
See, we're just a few. Once again, there's not enough of us to make an imprint in this country if it popped off like that. There's not enough of us.
You see, the issue isn't that it would be immoral, it's just that it's not feasible. There's not enough of us to do it, so you have nothing to worry about. Oh, what if there was enough of you to do it? Oh, then you should be worried. Yeah. Yeah, we know. It's kinda why we, keep you in check.
So, we're the trigger.
Oh yeah, you're a fucking trigger, alright. But let's shuck and jive our way on over to America is not a country, it's a corporation. That's what it says in the Constitution.
My question to that is, why is that a problem for white America? And we were already—
Because it's one country.
Because it's what?
We are one country, and the problems of one community—
We're not one country. We're an entity. We're a corporation. The United States is a corporation. It's not a country.
It certainly is. And with that attitude, we can never be a country. If that's the attitude that people have.
Because it's not a country. It was never built. It's written in the Constitution. It's a corporation.
That is
not
definitely
a country.
not written in the—
That is not written in the Constitution. That's just not true.
It's not a country.
Now, what you'd want to do with an adversarial interlocutor like this is force them to make the concession that they're wrong about saying, it says in the Constitution that America is a corporation. You can't let that slide. If you just let everything slide, you're not exhibiting a firm ground of epistemology in your discussion, so it's just going to be useless. But let's see where this goes.
So what I'm saying is, when we were black people in our own communities thriving, like you said, doing our own thing, why was that a problem for white America? We were doing our own thing. Why did y'all come and burn down the Wall Street, the Black Wall Street? We had our thing going. Why is it an issue when we have our own thing going and we're minding our business? White America comes in and figure out a reason to, oh, that's wrong. Y'all are doing something wrong. That's not by the code.
It sounds like you're saying that you would want racial segregation. Because you're
I
saying
don't want racial segregation. We asked for equality. We didn't get that.
But you're saying your own community doing your own thing.
Do our own thing.
Are you saying that we should be separate communities? That's what I'm asking. Are you saying we should be separate white and black communities? That's what it sounds like a little bit.
Separation may be the answer.
Okay. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, separation could be the answer.
What if a white person says that? Is it racist?
No, it's not.
Okay.
So this is unbelievably convenient, where in this conversation, yeah, a white person could say that and not be racist, but does it exist like that outside of this conversation in normal polite society, in public and in media? No, of course not. So it's very convenient. All of a sudden, this isn't an insane right-wing extremist position to segregate the races. It's at the behest of their request for it to be done. Let's see how long that lasts for, that it's not racist.
I think we should.
But if you're saying it in a narrative that we're a threat to you guys, so that's why we want to be separate.
But you just said that white people are a threat to black people. That's what you just said. So why can't white people say it? And I don't think separation is the answer.
I didn't say that. I said you guys find a problem with everything that we do.
If separation is the answer,
yeah, but reparations, come on with it.
All of a sudden, yeah, this racist, come on with it. And then he crosses his arms, and you can witness the moment that Steven Crowder was thinking the N-word, so he had to look away. And so Steven Crowder looks for a short reprieve, going back to the reparations talk. What is enough? At what point have we Gibbs enough, right? At what point? Do you think there's an answer?
Why would they do that? Why would they pay that?
What's the number?
Oh, because historically,
what's the number, right? Public Department of Education, Great Society, Model Cities Program, Black businesses, Pell Grants, affirmative action, DEI. It's not enough. What's the number that's enough?
Once again, just like we said about the civil rights movement, about the education and all that, you can do certain things in the name of doing the right thing, but then you do it wrong. So
what's the number?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't personally have an answer to that question.
One moment, just one second. Would you agree that if a young person who has no connection to slavery whatsoever, you probably need a number for them? Otherwise, they're probably going to be pissed.
They didn't need a number for Ukraine.
Sure,
they paid them same taxes.
You know, I don't want to speak on behalf of the fellas or anything, but if given the choice between sending the money to Ukraine or paying you guys reparations, we would want to send the money to Ukraine. We'd rather send the money to violent thugs outside of the country than violent thugs inside of the country. I could probably get 2 million people to sign a petition to promise to give you reparations, and then we burn the money in front of you. I could probably get people on board with giving you all cash payments, but it's really a hologram and it disappears as soon as it goes into your hands. Or here's a crazy idea. Here's something more realistic. Maybe before we give you reparations, pull your pants up in public and don't Def Comedy Jam gesticulate in the movie theater during a horror movie. Still do all the crime. I'm just talking about baby steps here.
Sure, they paid them same taxes. They didn't need a number for how much
You're
we were going
talking
to pay.
about reparations to a young person, right? In the name of sins of forefathers. My point is, what's the number? Because the number now is trillions of dollars. I get it. The government screws everything up, and I will agree on that. What's the number? You're sitting down right now with a 22-year-old white kid.
Give my daughter $15 million and we'll call it square.
$15 million?
$15 million apiece. We'll call it square. That's for me and for them.
$15 million, okay.
$15 million.
Look, since a lot of people don't care about their taxes, add an extra 2% to what you pay in taxes. How about that? 2%. That's a number.
2% for how long?
Let's see. How long it was?
So 2% only for white people who have a connection to slavery at their forefathers, right?
How long were we in slavery?
You'd end up with no money. You'd end up with zero money.
According to the most recent available data from the National Assessment of Education Progress, the nation's report card, only 7% of black 12th grade students scored at or above the proficient level in mathematics. Sounds a little high if you ask me. So of course we get the random number of 15 million, like, yeah, here's a number, you want a number, there's a number. But it gets dumber than that, because then homeboy over here is like, 2%, that's a number. What if everybody pays 2% in taxes? Ain't that a number? That's a number, right?
A lot of people don't care about their taxes. Add an extra 2% to what you pay in taxes. How about that? 2%, that's a number.
And that, rightfully so, causes Steven Crowder to form a new white person face. We are 50% white person smile with 50% fatigue on that one. Oh, he's down to 1 HP. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, let's do a few more numbers to see how that would try to help your cause, Mr. Black Man.
2% for how long?
Let's see. How long it was?
So 2% only for white people who have a connection to slavery at their forefathers, right?
How long were we in slavery?
You'd end up with no money. You'd end up with zero money.
No, hold on, I got this. Let me just defriculate oppression times how much I like money. Let me just count my fingers. Hey, yo, white boy, how long y'all have us in chains for? They have no answers, just requests and no answers. They know they want, they just don't know what they want or how much. No solutions. It's incredible and dangerous and infuriating.
You'd each end up with about $14.99.
You keep letting our people off the hook.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the government paying taxes. I'm not talking about just people who are responsible for taking this. I'm not responsible for.
Hold on. Everyone stop what you're doing. If you're at the gym and you're just listening, I'll give you a minute to finish your set. If you're playing a video game, put it on pause or just die and respawn. What on God's lily white earth is this white dude doing there getting a haircut during this conversation? The level of anxiety while getting this haircut could only maybe be matched by people getting their head shaved in a gulag. What kind of psychotic, sick, twisted white person wants to hear a cacophony of primal screeches bouncing off the walls about reparations minutes before you're expected to tip your black barber? Some heroes wear a barber's cape. I would rather my mom walk in on me jerking off than be this white guy getting a haircut right now. Jeepers, that looks uncomfortable.
For anything happening in Ukraine, but I'm paying for it.
I agree.
So why should that rationale not transfer to this?
Because it's rationale.
We're going to all be a part and members of the same country. Well, we have to take on what comes with that. What comes with that is historically, every time like Chris said earlier, every time black people have achieved en masse, it's been torn down.
No.
And then you get to a point
Unless you're
where
talking about the riots, yeah.
Then you get to a point where you're like, I can mention there's several black communities that's under lakes. There's one that's under Central Park in New York. Like, there's plenty, but...
If somebody had a gun to my head and they were like, if you laugh or make any noise during this conversation while you're getting a haircut, it would be a death sentence for your boy over here, okay? Now I'm just looking at this like I'm the white guy getting a haircut. You can't even let out a or a... I have actual anxiety thinking about being in that chair. Okay, back to the video.
My point is, then you get to a point where you say, okay, we're going to do this in the interest of justice. But then redlining and all that stuff happens. And then the prison industrial complex, all of that stuff that happens that adds to the wrong of it, it gets mixed in.
I get what you're saying.
You think you've been fatigued, but have you ever been Clint Eastwood fatigued? I am spiritually unable to be taking this seriously right now, so let's just start to end it here.
Yeah, we tried, and you should just be happy with it.
Here's the problem. What you just said, it was the rhetoric and the reasoning behind catch and release, doing away with the three-strike policy. You point to New York. You got a black mayor and crime got worse.
Because he's a criminal.
Violent offenders are being released into society and committing crime in record numbers right now.
And nonviolent offenders are being held on petty charges.
No, they're not.
I've personally done the numbers on it.
How did that guy get out after 14 times? George Floyd 9 times. Do you realize 11 times arrested is the average murderer?
And you got people in there for weed charges. That's in there for.
It's not a thing. It's less than 0.5%
personally
of federal penitentiaries.
And that's the thing. When you tell somebody that personal knowledge don't matter because the stats matter more.
To a person? Maybe not, but to you, definitely. These are the same people that don't care about any of the personal stories of white people. So, we have the data on our side, and it's accompanied with an anecdote, compared to you guys that don't have any of the data on your side, and it's accompanied with lies. Oh, am I overstepping my bounds and saying it's a lie? Let's investigate his anecdotal story.
I personally know this. I know somebody right now that's in jail for small but I know somebody else that did some big and they out.
Small shit, define small. So he had a joint on him?
Selling weed.
He's in prison right now because he had a joint.
But a small amount
One time he got caught selling. One time a small joint he was selling.
No,
Let's talk about small things. Let's talk about it.
What is it really? That's what I'm saying. If you want to frame it in the one-time small joint, that's a small man argument. I'm saying.
What is he in for?
I don't know how much he had, but it was.
And one time?
It wasn't. Yeah, it was one time.
He got caught one time selling weed.
No, I don't know. It wasn't his first time. No.
Okay, so he got caught multiple times.
Yeah.
And he was selling weed.
But every time wasn't the same thing.
You gotta be heckin' frickin' me. It was one time. We got caught one time. We got caught one time. Was it his first time or his only time? No, it wasn't his first time. But technically, the one time I'm talking about was the one time. It's like arguing with a child. See how it's technically true that it was one time, and upon a modicum of interrogation, we find out that it wasn't the first time? But technically it is true that it was one time, the one time he was talking about? I can't even tell if they're being duplicitous on purpose. Unfortunately, I don't even think they know either. It's like it's their default loadout. Anyways, I could do this until the end of time. There is an untapped well of comedy with these people due to fear of backlash. It's been a POC only, no whites allowed well for far too long. You know what? I don't want to just drink from my well anymore. I want to drink from their well. We ain't just eating, fellas. We drinking too. The mocking will continue until morale improves. Have a good one.